In recent weeks, at least 16 threats or hoax threats against schools have been shared on social media in our viewing area.
Well, I investigated the root of the problem and what officials both nationwide and here at home are doing to address it.
The good news is law enforcement is much more adept at tracking the digital footprints, and they eventually find the threat makers.
National school safety expert Ken Trump says social media is a double-edged sword for online threats.
The bad news is you can get a lot of spin-off threats, and these threats create heightened anxiety, ambiguity, uncertainty for parents, students, and others throughout the school community.
Many school districts in our area have responded to threats or false claims of threats. They include Vigo County, Indiana, Decatur, Champaign, Marshall, Mattoon, Shelbyville, Villa Grove, Okaw Valley, and Charleston.
Authorities have taken at least 10 people connected to these threats into custody, the youngest being 11 years old. In some cases, students and others have made threats online, but in other cases here and across the nation, emergency responders are also responding to hoax threats, where false claims of a threat are shared on social media or sometimes reported by phone. Newswatch asked the FBI how that affects law enforcement.
The problem is we're being pulled off of line, away from our other investigative duties to prevent homicides, bank robberies, elder fraud, crimes against children, drug transportations, international terrorism, domestic terrorism. All of those things are still going on while we're being pulled away to investigate a hoax or a false threat.
But safety expert Ken Trump says this round of threats is part of a pattern that's existed for 25 years.
Going all the way back to the Columbine era and before, up to the present with the Georgia school shooting, it's expected to see a contagion effect and uptick of threats, oftentimes starting the day of or certainly the next day following that incident.
Charleston School District says some of these threats come from old posts at other schools that started recirculating here. And according to our partner station, WTHI, Vigo County Schools, who responded to 5 threats this month, said the same kind of posts are being shared in their district.
Most of them were shared. At this point, we believe that were shared. Some of them have even popped up as almost stock photos from other agencies and other cities and communities, all the way from Texas, Alabama, Arkansas, Kentucky, Virginia.
We asked why those reports spread.
And the threat makers get a joy, a thrill, a sense of power when they do that.
We even had them make the threats before just to shut down the school so they don't have to take a test.
We asked Regional Superintendent Kyle Thompson how Central Illinois schools plan to keep facilities open but safe.
Schools have threat assessment teams where they have procedures that they go through, a checklist. They work immediately with law enforcement, and they make the best decision that they can make with the information that they have on how to proceed.
The FBI asks parents to monitor their kids' behavior on social media. The organization says those who engage in hoax threats can receive up to 5 years in federal prison or face state and local charges. Newswatch will continue to follow this story as it progresses.